Malik Washington can have success year one for the Terps.
You are Locked On Terps, your daily podcast on the Maryland Terps, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everyone? I'm Tre Moore, host of Locked On Terps, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So thank you guys for making us part of your day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Malik Washington can have success year one for the Terps. So I've been reading a lot of different things, and I've been researching a lot about what kind of people think about this Maryland football team. There's a lot of early rankings coming out about where Maryland's ranked, how does Maryland's quarterback room compare to everyone else. And I've been reading some of the stuff, and a lot of it is interesting. But I read an article today that people actually put Maryland's quarterback room near the bottom of the country in terms of just overall talent, in terms of impact, in terms of guys that are ready to play. And I honestly thought this article was really interesting. The fact that Maryland's was near the bottom. I mean, I kind of understand it, but I also think that we have some players, or we have a guy, Malik Washington, that we think can be near the top of the conference. Maybe not year one, but definitely year two. But I also think that there is a world where Malik Washington has a lot of success in year one. I think that definitely can happen. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to happen. I'm not even saying that it's like going to happen. I'm not saying Malik Washington will have success in year one. But to me, there is definitely a clear path to Malik Washington having success in year one. First, before we get into that, I want to talk about kind of what does success mean to me for Malik Washington. Let me know what you guys think. You can put stats down below in terms of passing yards that he gets. Whatever the case is, you guys can let me know what kind of success is to you guys. But in terms of me, it's not like necessarily winning a bunch of games. I think it's a couple of different things to me for Malik Washington to look like he's having success. One thing is he improving? If he gets worse throughout the season, if he looks good one week, terrible the next week, and then keeps looking, kind of goes on a down slope and decreases or something like that, to me, that's not really success. Obviously, it's not going to be a linear path up. That's not like that for anyone. But you do want to see an overall line that is going up for Malik Washington. That's continued to rise, that continues to rise. To me, that's one of the biggest indicators of success. Is Malik Washington consistently getting better? Maybe as a hiccup there, a hiccup here or there, whatever the case is. But to me, success to Malik Washington is he consistently getting better? You might have a tough game. Does he get better from the next game? He might play really well in the next game. Can he put two games together, two really good games together? I think that's success to me for Malik Washington. I think also how accurate is he year one as a freshman? I think that's one of the biggest things for him is how accurate is he? Last year, Billy Edwards completed about 65% of his throws. I think if Billy Edwards is hovering around that number, around that 65%, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, I think to me that's successful. But we don't want to get into a world where he's completing lower than that, like maybe he's at like in the 50s. Like to me, that's not successful. I want to see, is he being taking care of the ball? One, I think that's another indicator. Is he going the right place with the ball? Because Mike Locksley will draw it up right. He'll have the Terps definitely be able to have the Terps quarterback be able to hit the right spots, be able to hit the right guys. Like there will be check down options, and sometimes that's okay. Or does he try and do too much? I think that's a big indicator of success. I'm not really looking at, does he throw for 3,000 yards? Like to me, that's not necessarily a successful season. I just want to see him do the small things right. And if he's not turning over the ball a ton, like he's going to make mistakes. I totally expect him to make mistakes. If he's consistently getting better, if he's having a decently accurate year in terms of completion percentage, in terms of hitting guys on the mark, I think Maryland's Malik Washington can be successful in year one. But what is his path to being successful? I wanted to talk about really why Malik Washington can have success year one. I think the biggest reason why he can have success year one is his talent. His talent is just something else, and it's not something we've seen from a Maryland quarterback in a really long time. I don't know the last time we've seen a Maryland quarterback look like this. I don't know the last time we've seen a Maryland quarterback be this talented in terms of size, athleticism, and what he can do. And that's probably the biggest reason why I think he can be successful year one. It's not because necessarily the team around Malik. It's not necessarily because I think Michael Locksley's elite with quarterbacks. It's not that. It's about him. He's really talented. And sometimes it's that simple, and that will get him out of a lot of different things. His size, his 6'3", 6'4" size is going to allow him to maybe see a couple passes during the season that Talia couldn't see. His athleticism, the way he moves, the way he runs is going to get him out of a lot of sacks, is going to get him out of a lot of pressure. So even if Maryland's offensive line isn't playing great, even if Maryland's not blocking necessarily at an elite level, Malik Washington can still make things happen. He can still get out of things. They say in the NFL, sometimes the best thing a rookie quarterback can have is the ability to rush, because you can make a lot of different things happen. You can get out of a lot of trouble. You can make up for a lot of your misreads, a lot of maybe you're not going through your progressions as much. You can make up for a lot of different things when you can just run the football. And Malik has that in his bag. He's that good of an athlete where he's going to be able to create rushing lanes. He's going to be able to do some of that stuff where I think Billy Edwards had that ability, but he didn't use that nearly as much. So I think, number one, that's the biggest reason why I think Malik Washington can be successful, is because he's going to be able to use his legs, and he's really talented. He's a really talented athlete. He's big. He's going to be able to use his legs. I think we need to add some weight to his frame, but he's a really good athlete. Like I said, I've seen him play basketball in person. He's honestly was the freakiest kid on the basketball court. So I do think that will lead to him having success, and it's one of the reasons I do think Malik Washington can have success year one. I also think another reason why I think he can have potential success year one is I think Maryland's offensive line will be better. I think it'll be better. I'm not saying it'll be great. It won't be elite. I can almost guarantee that. I'm not saying it'll be good, but I think it'll be decent enough to put a product out on the field for Malik Washington to play at a decently high level and to have some success in year one. I'm not saying we're going to light up the world on fire. I'm not saying we're going to be an Ohio State type of offense where we got Jeremiah Smith on the outside and we got 3 first-round picks on the offensive line. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's going to have some success where he's going to be able to have time to make decisions. And like I talked about, he's going to be able to be more accurate maybe than Billy Edwards was, because to me, Billy Edwards was inconsistent. Some days he threw the ball really well. Other days he didn't. Some days he was really good with his legs. Some days he was so inconsistent. And part of that was because of his offensive line. And yeah, I don't think Maryland's offensive lines are going to be elite, but I think it'll be better where we get some guys back, we get Jalen Gilchrist, we get Ratrell Perry out of the transfer portal, we get some other guys recently out of the portal, where now you're like, okay, we should be able to put a solid starting 5 together where it's decent enough to give Malik Washington time to make reads, time to make less mistakes, and for him to feel somewhat comfortable in there. I think the offensive line will be better in that way, where he could have success. There's no guarantee. That's part of the reason why I'm saying he could have success in year one. And what could potentially lead him to have success in year one is Maryland having a better offensive line. I do think there's a world where it potentially struggles, a world where it doesn't look great, but I do think there's a world where Malik's has time. He can make the throws that he wants to make a little bit more, especially because of some of the opponents, which leads me to the next point. I think Malik Washington can have success year one because of the opponents we play. The teams we play aren't going to have like some elite defenses. It's not going to be like playing Penn State's defense where they got Abdul Carter on the edge and they have a couple NFL draft guys in their secondary and their entire defensive line is going to be guys in the NFL. Like, that's not what we're playing this year. We're playing teams that, yeah, they're going to have good players for sure. It's the Big Ten. But I don't think we're going to face a bunch of, that guy's a first-round pass rusher. We just can't block him. Malik Washington's going to get hit hard. Like the only team that I'm like, okay, Michigan might have a bunch of dudes on the defense side of the ball. Excuse me, guys. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of teams you play that you're like, that team's just going to have dude on dude on dude. That team's going to have so many guys that are going to kill Maryland. That team is going to have such high impact defensive players. That's going to be tough. Like, I don't know what team is really going to have an elite defense that we actually end up playing. Like, could, besides Michigan, like maybe Wisconsin has a good defense. Like maybe Nebraska's is better. Like, I don't know exactly. But that's part of the reason why, to me, I think Malik Washington can have success year one is because there just isn't a gauntlet of opponents. It's not like he's going to have to play Ohio State and Caleb Downs is staring you down. Like, that's not what the case is. You're playing teams that are decent Big Ten teams, but it's manageable. So our offensive line should look better. Our pass catchers should be able to get more open against these corners. We should just be able to do more on offense. Overall, I think that's just like reasonable expectations. And then hopefully next year or in 2 years when we're playing some better teams, like when Ohio State's back on the schedule or Penn State or USC, whatever the case is, we have the good enough team around Malik, and Malik has enough experience where he can still play at a high level. But in year one, it's tough to play Ohio State at Ohio State. It's tough to play Penn State, even if you're at home. And so I think Malik Washington can have success because he doesn't have to worry about some of those things. He doesn't have to worry about playing that high level of team. So I do think Malik Washington can have success. So I think the offensive line will be improved. I think Malik's just really talented. And I also think that we don't have a gauntlet of the schedule, which I think really can lead to Malik having a much better year. Let's talk about Darius Adams, the 5-star commit for the Terps. What will his role be next year as he signed a Terp? We'll talk about that next. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's game-winning shots or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. When player pops, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have way more than ever to play and smart and win big. There's so many different things you can bet on FanDuel. If you guys are NFL fans, all of those lines are out for the season. If you guys are NBA fans, you can bet on the game tonight, the Eastern Conference. It's the Pacers and the Knicks if you're an NBA fan. Or if you're a baseball type of guy, you can bet on the MLB. You can bet on college baseball. There's so many different things you guys can do on FanDuel, so don't miss out at all. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If you win, it gets you $200 in bonus bets. Let's talk about Darius Adams. What will his role be like next year for the Terps? How does he kind of fit in for Maryland basketball? Because I do think he's a really interesting type of 5-star prospect. I'm still kind of trying to figure him out in terms of as a player. He was a McDonald's All-American. He's rated as one of the best guys in that class. But I think, how does Buzz Williams use him? Where does he fit in? I think I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, is this guy high impact guy year one, like you expect most of your 5-stars to be? I don't know exactly. So I do think Maryland's roster is shaped up and it looks really good. And we could get the Wilkins guy on Friday. So I guess that's in 2 days. I talked about him yesterday. So check that out if you guys want to hear about that. He's a 4-star prospect, 2026. I'm still trying to figure out the deal. It's like, is he going to reclassify up? I don't know. He potentially could, I've heard, but he also might not. And we'll talk about him a little bit as well today. But Darius Adams officially signed yesterday, and I think that's really big. Buzz Williams, 5-star for Buzz Williams, I think is really awesome for us to get. He's a guard at 6'5". He's just on the skinnier side, but he can do a lot of different things in terms of his scoring ability and some of those different things. So I think we're all excited to watch Darius Adams and see what he's able to do. He's ranked as a top 25 prospect on basically every website. He's a 5-star type of player, so I do think he definitely can help the Terps year one, and he was previously committed to UConn. So But I do think we have to slow our roll on him a little bit. Like, this isn't a case, I want to be like pretty clear about this. This isn't a case to me where it's like Derek Queen coming in, where it's like he comes in and he's probably our best player. Like last year, I think before the season, I said Derek Queen will be our best player. I think I like Rodney Rice. I like Felton Miguel. I like even Julian Reese. And I like some of these different guys. I like Deshaun Harris-Smith coming back for a sophomore year. I like some of those guys last year. But I had a pretty good feeling when you watched Derek Queen, you got a pretty good sense Derek Queen was probably going to be the best player on that Maryland team. I don't think this is the case with Darius Adams. I think he's the type of guy that can play year one for sure, like a lot of 5-stars are, but I don't think he's going to come in and be like Maryland's guy. I don't think that's going to be true. He potentially could come off the bench even for Maryland next year, make his impact that way. That could be something. We have some guys at the guard position like Miles Wright, Isaiah Watts, David Coy, some of these guys, Andre Mills. We'll see exactly how that turns out, but he could end up sliding in at the 2 spot. We can maybe move Isaiah Watts down to the 3 and have Solomon Washington come off the bench, and maybe he starts. I don't know exactly how Buzz Williams is going to put this thing together, but I do think, to me, he comes in and he might struggle a little bit in terms of creating his own offense. I think he could struggle there. I think he's going to be a really good pure shooting type of scorer, but I don't know if he's a guy that's like, okay, put the ball in his hands and he'll go get you 20 points. I don't know if that's what he is. I do think he can shoot well from behind the arc and everything, but I don't know if he's just going to come in and do it on his own. I do think he's going to be a smart player, and I think he's still got to fill out his frame a little bit, get stronger, but I don't think he's like a guy that comes in and instantly. I think it could take a year or two for him to get right physically, and I think that could hurt him a little bit on the defense side of the ball year one. He might not be the best guy in terms of the defense side of the ball, but also finishing the ball through contact. But I think in terms of mid-range, in terms of three-point shot, I think he's skilled and smooth and has good size, and he definitely could really bolster himself. And maybe he's the type of guy where at the end of the season, he's a guy that starts. At the beginning, he doesn't. But I think these other guys might be a little bit more ready to go, like Isaiah Watts, like Miles Rice, like Solomon Washington, maybe even Andre Mills having a year in college. So I don't know exactly. I don't think he's going to have quite the impact year one. It could be a year 2 thing for Darius Adams, but I also could be completely wrong. I'm still trying to figure him out as a player, and I haven't watched him a ton, but I've watched a little bit to kind of have a feel that he's still growing into his body a little bit. There's still kind of some projection with his ranking, but we'll see exactly how it ends up being. I could be wrong. He could end up being one of our best guys. The fact that Buzz Williams gets a guy like this is obviously something. The fact that UConn had him too is obviously something as well. Like, UConn doesn't just recruit just because. UConn isn't just doing stuff just because. So they run a tight ship over there, and the guys that they get they're very specific with it. They like only certain guys, whether you're a McDonald's All-American or not. There's a reason this kid Darius Adams was a McDonald's All-American. He's really talented scoring the ball, but I think there could be some challenges. And Buzz Williams bases a lot of what he does off defense and those different things. So we'll see if Darius Adams is able to play that side of the ball on the elite level, because that's where it starts, to be completely honest. If he doesn't play good on the defense side of the ball, if he's not going to be able to be physical enough on the defense side of the ball, he ain't going to play a ton year one. So I don't know exactly. I'm still trying to figure out his role as a team, but I do think bringing in another player like the Wilkins kid that potentially could commit on Friday, like I was talking about, 4-star, 6'8", more of a 4-3 type of guy, where Darius Adams I think of as more of a 2/1. Maybe he could slide to the 3 a little bit. I think also could be another really solid player to bring in, and we'll see exactly what ends up happening. But I do like where the Terps are at. I think Darius Adams comes in and plays and helps. I just don't want the expectations to be through the roof, because I don't think that's the type of player he is. But I don't think a ton of people have that expectations for him. So we'll see exactly what ends up happening. But I'm excited that we got a player like that. I've been saying Buzz Williams has shown they can kind of recruit all over the country. That's not just going to be a DMV thing. It felt a little bit like that for Kevin Willard, that it was like, if we don't get the DMV guys, we're just not going to get high-level prospects. But it seems a little bit different with Buzz Williams. It feels like he's going to be able to go around the country a little bit more. Is there a star in this receiver room like there's been the last couple of years? We'll talk about that next. So we've had really good receivers over the last couple of years, but I don't know if we have that type of guy in our receiving room this year. Like last year, I think we all say Ty Felton was a star last year. What Ty Felton did last year at times, I thought was honestly pretty awesome. Third round pick to the Vikings, goes gets to play with Jordan Addison and maybe the best receiver in the game, and Justin Jefferson, and we'll see exactly what he does there. But as a college player, Ty Felton honestly had, I thought, a star year last year. 96 receptions, 1,124 yards. Like, he was often near top of the country in terms of yards, 9 touchdowns. Like, that's pretty amazing. Even in 2023, 48 receptions, 723 yards. We've had guys in our receiving room kind of be stars. Caden Prather were in the 7th round. Jayshon Jones, another guy. I don't want to say Jayshon Jones was a star, but he's a really good player. We had Rakeem Jarrett, who was a 5-star. We've had Stephon Diggs. We've had DJ Moore. Like, we've had some guys that are borderline not only stars in college football, but what's really hard to do is make stars at the next level and kind of make stars going into the NFL. And I honestly thought that Maryland has done a really good job of making stars in the receiving room. And I'm looking at this receiving room now, and I'm like, realistically, what guys could potentially become the next Ty Felton? Could become the next Diggs or DJ Moore, like something like that. Because if you look at what Ty Felton did in college, it wasn't a right-away thing. Like in 2022, I don't know if I would have told you Ty Felton would be the best receiver on the team. 2022, 23 receptions, 309 yards. In 2021, 5 receptions, 51 yards. It's a progressive type of thing. So I want to kind of talk about guys that I think potentially could go there. Not saying they will. I do think there's a couple guys that potentially could go there. I think Octavian Smith is one. He's just too explosive, too quick, too fast for me not to put him in that category. I think he's one of those guys that potentially could hit another stride. It might take him a little it might have taken him a little time, but this is it for Octavian Smith. But similar to kind of how I viewed Ty Felton, he's done kind of a similar thing in terms of his stats. Every year it's gotten a little bit better, but I think there's another kind of place for him to get to. Like in 22, 12 receptions, 157 yards. 2023, 22 receptions, 209 yards. Last year's junior year, 30 receptions, 315 yards. 2025, can he get to 50 receptions or 60 and maybe get to 700, 800 types of yards? And I do think that's a possibility. I think last year, Billy Edwards throwing the football doesn't necessarily make for a killer year, but could he potentially make that Ty Felton jump? I do think there's a place for that. I think Jaleel Farouk as well was injured all last year, but we know a couple of years ago at Oklahoma had like 700 yards. I don't see a reason why he can't end up potentially being a star for us. I can see him making that jump. He's kind of already showed it. It's just how does he come back from the injury? I think Mekhi White's interesting because Ty Felton's jump will be a little bit different. His was more a constant growth year to year, whereas Mekhi White's would be, who's this redshirt freshman that all of a sudden has caught 40 catches for the Terps but has 500 yards on the season? Like, that's not an easy thing to do, but I think Mekhi White could do it. I think he's talented enough to do it. I do think those are the couple guys in the receiving room that I'm like, they potentially could do it. Maybe Caleb Webb coming from Tennessee, but I don't feel great. Like Ty Felton, at this time last year, I was saying, Ty Felton could be a star this year. I thought he had the size at 6'2". Like, I don't think anyone's as talented as Ty. What did he run the combine? Like a 4.38? He was one of the fastest guys on the team. I can't say we have that, but I do think we have guys that potentially could do it. So we'll see what ends up happening. That's all we have for today. Thank you guys for listening to Locked on Terps. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're here every day talking Maryland football and basketball. So thank you guys for listening to Locked on Terps.